Admiral Kethvar stood on the bridge of his massive warship, looking down at the blue and green planet below. His 6 arms moved across the control panels with practiced ease. The planet looked peaceful from up here, but he knew better. Peace was just another word for weakness. "Sir, we are in position," reported his weapons officer Zethnol. The younger alien's scales gleamed under the bridge lights as he checked his instruments one more time. "Good, have you confirmed the planets?" "Military strength?" Kethvar asked. His voice was cold and sharp, like metal scraping against stone. "Yes, Admiral. They have some space stations and a few hundred ships, but nothing that can threaten us. Their weapons are primitive. Most of their population still lives on the surface of their world." Kethvar nodded slowly. This was how it always went. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the past 50 years. Each time, it was the same story. The local species would fight back with their simple weapons, and each time the Empire would crush them like insects. "What do they call themselves?" he asked. "Humans, sir. They seem to be a violent species. Our scouts report they fight wars among themselves constantly." "Violent but stupid," Kethvar said with a laugh that sounded like grinding metal. "The perfect combination for easy conquest. Prepare the World Ender." The World Ender was the Empire's favorite weapon. It was a bomb the size of a small building, filled with enough energy to turn continents into glass. The Empire used it to send a message to other species in the galaxy. "Submit to us, or watch your world burn." Nal's claws clicked against his control panel. "The weapon is ready, sir." "Shall I target one of their major cities?" "No," Kethvar said, his eyes never leaving the planet below. "Drop it in their largest ocean. Let them see what we can do. When they realize we could have destroyed their cities but chose not to, they will surrender immediately." Far below, on Earth's surface, people were going about their normal lives. In New York, office workers were starting their morning routines. In Tokyo, families were eating dinner. In London, children were playing in parks. None of them knew that death was about to fall from the sky, but high above Earth. In a space station that few people knew existed, alarms were starting to sound. Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the warning lights began flashing. He had been in charge of the orbital defense platform for 3 years, and he had never seen anything like this before. "Lisa, what's happening?" he called to his communications officer. Lisa Grant looked up from her screens, her face pale. "Sir, we have a massive ship on our sensors. It just appeared out of nowhere. It's bigger than anything we've ever seen." Jake set down his coffee cup and moved to the main display. The alien ship was enormous, easily 10 times the size of Earth's largest space station. It was shaped like a giant arrowhead with strange symbols glowing along its hull. "Are they responding to our communications?" Jake asked. "No, sir. We've tried every frequency. They're not talking to us." Pete Williams, the station's chief engineer, looked up from his instruments. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildup on that ship. Something big is about to happen." Jake felt his stomach drop. He had been a soldier for 20 years, and he knew what weapons looked like when they were charging up. "Red alert. Contact Earth Command immediately. Tell them we have a hostile alien vessel preparing to attack." "Sir, they're launching something." Pete reported. "It's huge. The energy signature is off the charts." On the main screen, they could see the alien weapon falling toward Earth. It was shaped like a crystal, with energy crackling around its surface. As it entered Earth's atmosphere, it began to glow white-hot. "Where is it heading?" Jake asked. Lisa checked her instruments. "Pacific Ocean, sir. About 200 miles west of California." Jake grabbed the communication device. "This is Captain Morrison to all Earth forces. We have an incoming alien weapon." "I repeat, alien. Weapon incoming. Impact in 90 seconds. The weapon fell like a meteor, leaving a trail of fire across the sky. People on the ground looked up in wonder, thinking it was some kind of natural phenomenon. They had no idea they were watching what was supposed to be their death sentence. In the alien ship above, Admiral Kethvar watched with satisfaction. "Excellent. The humans will see the explosion from space. They will know that we could destroy their entire world if we wanted to. But then something impossible happened. Just as the weapon was about to hit the ocean, the air around it began to shimmer. A circle of light appeared in the sky, like a doorway made of pure energy. The weapon, instead of crashing into the water, disappeared into the light. What just happened? Kethavar demanded. CS-NO was frantically checking his instruments. Sir, the weapon has vanished. I'm not reading any explosion. No radiation, nothing. That's impossible. Check your sensors. I have, sir, multiple times. The weapon is just ... On Earth's defense platform, Jake and his crew were staring at their screens in shock. The alien bomb had simply vanished, as if it had never existed. Did you see that? Pete asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I saw it, but I don't believe it, Jake replied. Lisa, are you getting any readings from the impact site? No, sir. No explosion, no radiation, no debris. It's like the weapon just disappeared. Jake thought about all the strange projects he had heard rumors about. Secret government facilities, experimental technology, things that officially didn't exist. He had always assumed they were just stories, but now he wondered. Sir, Lisa said, her voice shaking, the alien ship is still up there. They're not moving. They're probably as confused as we are, Jake said. Keep monitoring them and get me a direct line to Earth Command. I think we need to make some phone calls. Admiral Kethvar was pacing back and forth on his bridge. In 50 years of conquest, nothing like this had ever happened. The World Ender was their most powerful weapon. It had never failed before. Could their technology have destroyed it? He asked. Impossible, sir. Their weapons are too primitive. They barely have energy shields, and those are weak. Then where did it go? I don't know, sir. But I recommend we prepare another weapon. Perhaps they got lucky, and it won't happen again. Kethvar stopped pacing and looked down at the planet. The blue and green world looked the same as before. Peaceful, innocent, but now he wasn't so sure. No, he said finally. We wait. I want to see what happens next. Sir? These humans just made our most powerful weapon disappear. I want to know how they did it before we give them another chance to surprise us. Deep below the surface of Earth, in a facility that didn't appear on any map, alarms were ringing. Scientists in white coats were running between computer terminals, and military officers were shouting orders. In the center of the facility, inside a room lined with strange equipment, something impossible was happening. The alien weapon had appeared, floating in midair. Held in place by beams of energy. Dr. Amy Collins looked at the device with a mixture of fear and excitement. She had spent her entire career studying theoretical physics, but she had never seen anything like this before. How did we catch it? Asked Colonel Rick Turner, the facility's military commander. We didn't catch it, Amy replied, her eyes never leaving the alien bomb. We invited it in. The weapon was beautiful in a terrifying way. It was made of some kind of crystal that pulsed with inner light. Energy danced around its surface like lightning trapped in glass. Can we disarm it? Rick asked. I don't know yet, but I can tell you one thing. This technology is incredible. And if we can understand it, we might be able to send them a message they'll never forget. Above them, the alien ship waited in the darkness of space. Admiral Kethvar stood at his command post, staring down at the planet that had just done the impossible. He didn't know it yet, but his world was about to change forever. The humans had just shown him something that would shake the foundations of his empire. They had turned his weapon of destruction into an opportunity for discovery, and they were just getting started. Dr. Amy Collins had not slept in 18 hours. She stood in the underground laboratory, staring at the alien weapon that floated in the center of the containment field. The bomb was twice as tall as she was, and it pulsed with a soft blue light that hurt to look at directly. The energy readings are incredible, she said to her assistant, Dr. Ben Carter. This thing contains more power than our largest nuclear reactors. Ben nodded, his fingers dancing across the holographic displays that surrounded the weapon. But look at how it's contained. The energy matrix is crude, almost primitive. It's like they're using a stone hammer to crack a diamond. Colonel Rick Turner walked into the lab, his military boots echoing on the metal floor. Behind him followed General Martha Stone, the highest-ranking officer Amy had ever seen in the facility. "Dr. Collins," the general said, her voice crisp and professional. "I need to understand what we're dealing with." "Can this thing still explode?" Amy looked at the weapon again. "Theoretically, yes, but the containment field is holding it in a stable state. The alien technology is fascinating. They're using quantum fusion, but they're letting the reaction run wild instead of controlling it." "What does that mean in simple terms?" Rick asked. "It means they built a very big bomb, but they don't really understand how it works," Ben explained. "They just know how to make it go boom," General Stone frowned. "And we can do better?" Amy smiled for the first time since the weapon had appeared. "General, we've been studying quantum fusion for decades. We just never had the materials to build a working model. But this," she gestured to the alien bomb, "this shows us exactly what we were missing." The general's expression didn't change. "Doctor, there's an alien warship sitting above our planet. They dropped this bomb on us, probably as a warning. What do you suggest we do about it?" "We send it back," Amy said simply. "Send it back, with improvements." Meanwhile, 6 miles above their heads, Captain Jake Morrison was having the worst day of his career. He had been trying to contact Earth Command for 3 hours, but every call was being redirected to automated systems or junior officers who had no idea what to do about an alien invasion. "Sir," Lisa Grant called from her station, "I'm getting strange readings from Earth's surface. There's some kind of energy signature coming from the Rocky Mountains." Jake looked at the display. "What kind of energy?" "I don't know, sir. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Very advanced, very controlled, and it's getting stronger." Pete Williams looked up from his engineering station. "Captain, I think someone down there is working on something big. The power requirements for that energy signature would need a facility the size of a small city." Jake thought about the rumors he had heard over the years. Secret government projects, black sites, technology that officially didn't exist. "Lisa, try to contact whoever is generating that signal." "Sir, I don't think they want to be contacted. The signal is heavily encrypted and shielded. Keep trying. If there's someone down there who can help us deal with our alien visitors, I want to talk to them." In the alien ship above, Admiral Kethvar was growing impatient. It had been 6 hours since his weapon had disappeared, and there was still no word from the planet below. No surrender. No communication, nothing. "Sir," Zethnal reported, "I'm detecting unusual energy patterns from the planet's surface." "Something is happening down there? What kind of energy?" "Unknown, sir, but it's very sophisticated. Much more advanced than anything we've seen from this species." Kethvar's scales darkened with anger. "Are you telling me these primitive humans have technology we don't understand?" "I'm not sure, sir. But the energy signature is definitely not natural." The Admiral moved to the main display, studying the planet below. Something was wrong. The humans should have surrendered by now. They should have been begging for mercy. Instead, they were doing something in secret. "Prepare another world ender," he ordered. "Sir, we only have 2 more on this ship. If we use them all... do it. I want to see what these humans do with a second weapon." Back in the underground facility, Amy was working frantically with a team of scientists who had been flown in from around the world. The best minds in physics, engineering, and computer science were all focused on one task: understanding the alien technology. "The fusion matrix is held together by quantum entanglement," reported Dr. Sarah Kim, a particle physicist from MIT. "But the entanglement is unstable. That's why the weapon is so crude. They can't control the reaction precisely." "What if we could stabilize it?" asked Dr. Carlos Mendez, a fusion expert from the European Space Agency. "Then we could make it smaller, more efficient, and much more powerful," Amy replied. "But that's not the best part." "What's the best part?" General Stone asked. She had been listening to the scientists debate for hours, understanding maybe half of what they were saying. "The best part is that we can make it smart," Ben said, his eyes bright with excitement. We can program it to adapt to whatever defenses it encounters, and we can give it a message. A message? A diplomatic message? Amy explained. Something to let our alien visitors know that we received their gift and we're returning it with interest. Colonel Rick looked skeptical. You want to send a talking bomb back to an alien warship? Not just any bomb, Amy corrected. A better bomb, a bomb that shows them exactly what humans can do when we put our minds to it. General Stone considered this. How long would it take? 48 hours, Amy said. Maybe less if we can get more resources. What kind of resources? Every supercomputer in the country, every advanced materials lab, every quantum research facility, and about 1,000 of the smartest engineers we can find. The general smiled grimly. Doctor, you just described the most expensive science project in human history. General, there's an alien warship sitting above our planet. I think this qualifies as a special circumstance. While the scientists worked, Captain Jake finally managed to get through to someone who could help. The voice on the other end of the communication was calm and professional, but Jake could hear the stress. Underneath. Captain Morrison, this is Director Collins. I understand you have some concerns about our visitors. Director, we have an alien warship that just dropped a bomb on us. I think concerns is putting it mildly. The situation is under control, Captain. We're working on a response. What kind of response? The kind that will make sure our visitors understand that Earth is not as helpless as they think. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Director, what exactly are you planning? We're planning to return their gift, Captain, with some modifications. What? Kind of modifications? The kind that will make them very sorry they decided to attack us. The line went dead, leaving Jake staring at his communication device. He had been a soldier for 20 years, and he had learned to recognize certain tones of voice. Director Collins had sounded like someone planning a war, but not a war of defense. A war of retaliation. 2 days later, the alien bomb that had threatened to destroy Earth's Pacific Ocean had been completely transformed. Where before it had been a crude fusion weapon the size of a building, now it was a sleek device no bigger than a refrigerator, but size was deceiving. The quantum-enhanced fusion matrix inside could generate energy outputs that made the original weapon look like a firecracker. And embedded in its core was a message that would change everything. Amy stood in the launch bay, watching as the upgraded weapon was loaded into Earth's most advanced stealth ship. The bomb's surface was smooth and black, covered with symbols that seemed to shift and move in the light. It's beautiful, Ben said, standing beside her. It's terrifying, Amy replied. We just built something that could probably destroy their entire ship. Good, maybe they'll think twice before attacking anyone else. General Stone approached them, her expression serious. Doctor, are you sure this will work? I'm sure it will work, General. The question is whether it will work too well. What? Do you mean? Amy looked at the weapon one more time. I mean, we might have just started a war we're not prepared to fight. Or, Ben added, we might have just ended one before it began. The stealth ship launched 20 minutes later carrying humanity's response to the alien threat. The weapon was programmed to find the alien ship, attach itself to the hull, and then deliver its message. What happened next would determine whether humanity became the newest member of the galactic community, or whether Earth became the site of the greatest battle in human history. Either way, the aliens were about to learn something important about the species they had decided to attack. Humans. It turned out we're very good at returning gifts, especially when those gifts came with upgrades. The stealth ship USS Shadow moved through space like a ghost. Commander Rachel Price kept her eyes on the navigation display as her ship approached the massive alien vessel. The enemy warship was so large it blocked out the stars behind it. Distance. To target? She asked her pilot, Lieutenant Danny Rodriguez. 2,000 kilometers in closing, Commander. Their sensors haven't detected us yet, Rachel nodded. The Shadow was Earth's most advanced stealth ship, designed to be invisible to radar, heat sensors, and even visual detection. But they had never tested it against alien technology before. How's our package? She asked. Secure in the launch bay, reported Chief Engineer Karen White. All systems green. The weapon is ready for deployment. Rachel looked at the alien ship. On her screen, it was shaped like a giant arrowhead, covered in strange symbols that glowed with an eerie light. She had never seen anything so large or so threatening. "Remember, people," she said to her crew, "we get one shot at this. If we miss, they'll know we're here." Back on Earth, Dr. Amy Collins was pacing nervously in the command center. Banks of monitors showed the Shadow's approach, while other screens displayed data from the upgraded weapon. "The ship is in position," reported Lieutenant Commander Tony Rodriguez, the Space Force liaison. "They're ready to deploy the package." General Stone stood behind Amy, her arms crossed. "Doctor, are you certain this will work?" "The weapon will work, General. The question is whether the aliens will understand our message. And if they don't?" Amy looked at the display showing the alien warship. "Then we'll have the shortest first contact in human history." Dr. Ben Carter looked up from his workstation. "Amy, the quantum matrix is stable. The message system is online. Everything is ready." The message they had embedded in the weapon was simple but clear. It was a recording of President Harrison himself, speaking in perfect Zephyrian language. The alien database in their original bomb had included their entire communication system, making translation easy. "Thank you for the gift," the message said. "We have made some improvements. Please consider this our formal response to your diplomatic overture." The words were polite, but the meaning was clear. Earth was sending the alien weapon back, and it was much more dangerous than before. In the alien ship, Admiral Kethvar was growing more frustrated by the hour. It had been 3 days since his weapon had disappeared, and the humans still had not responded. No surrender, no communication, nothing. "Sir," Zethnal reported, "I'm still detecting those unusual energy signatures from the planet. Whatever they're doing down there, it's getting more intense." "Have you identified the source?" "Negative, sir. The energy is coming from deep underground. We can't scan through all that rock and metal." Kethvar's 6 arms moved restlessly across his command console. In 50 years of conquest, he had never encountered a species that ignored his threats. The humans were either very brave or very stupid. "Sir," another officer called out, "long-range sensors are detecting something, a small object approaching from the planet." "What kind of object?" "Unknown, sir. It's very small and moving slowly. It doesn't appear to be armed." "A surrender delegation?" "Possibly, sir." "Should we allow it to approach?" Kethvar considered this. Perhaps the humans were finally ready to negotiate. "Yes, but maintain full shields." "I don't trust these creatures." The USS Shadow continued its approach, staying just outside the alien ship's main sensor range. Rachel watched as the massive vessel grew larger on her screen. She had never seen anything so intimidating. "Launch window opening in 60 seconds, Danny reported. "Weapon systems armed and ready," Karen confirmed. "The package is locked onto the target." Rachel took a deep breath. Everything depended on the next few minutes. If the weapon worked as designed, it would attach itself to the alien ship and deliver its message. If it didn't work, Earth would be at war with a species that had conquered 17 star systems. 30 seconds to launch, Danny announced. On Earth, Amy watched the final countdown on her screen. Around her, dozens of scientists and military officers held their breath. This was the moment they had all been working toward. 10 seconds. Tony announced, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. The upgraded weapon shot out of the Shadow's launch bay like a bullet. It was much smaller than the original alien bomb, but it moved with perfect precision. The stealth coating made it almost invisible against the darkness of space. "Package away," Rachel reported. "Time to target, 90 seconds. The weapon streaked toward the alien ship, its quantum guidance system adjusting its course with microscopic precision. Unlike the crude alien bomb that had fallen toward Earth like a meteor, this device moved with the grace of a dancer. 60 seconds to impact, Karen announced in the alien ship. Sub-Commander Zethnal was monitoring the approaching object when his sensors suddenly screamed a warning. Admiral, the approaching object just accelerated. It's not a delegation. It's a weapon. What? Kethvar spun around to face the tactical display. That's impossible. Our sensors would have detected any weapon. Sir, it's moving too fast for our defensive systems. Impact in 30 seconds. Raise shields. Prepare to fire all weapons. Sir, it's too small and too fast. We can't target it. Kethvar watched in horror as the tiny object approached his massive ship. How had the humans managed to build something that his advanced sensors couldn't detect until it was almost too late? 20 seconds to impact, Zethnal reported, his voice tight. With fear. All hands, brace for impact. Kethvar ordered. The weapon struck the alien ship's hull with a soft thud, barely audible over the hum of the engines. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the device began to unfold, extending microscopic tendrils that burrowed into the ship's armor. Sir, the weapon has attached itself to our hull. It's not exploding. What is it doing? It appears to be connecting to our systems. Suddenly, every screen on the alien ship lit up with the same image. A human face appeared, speaking in perfect Zephyrian. Thank you for the gift. We have made some improvements. Please consider this our formal response to your diplomatic overture. The message played 3 times, then the screens went dark. For a moment, the bridge was silent except for the hum of the engines. Admiral, Zethnal said quietly, the weapon is still attached to our hull. It's not doing anything, but the energy readings are incredible. How incredible? Sir, this device contains more energy than our entire main reactor. If it detonates, it will destroy the ship. Kethvar stared at the display showing the tiny weapon attached to his hull. The humans had taken his ultimate weapon and made it smaller, smarter, and more powerful. And instead of using it to destroy his ship immediately, they had used it to deliver a message. Sir, what are your orders? Kethvar looked around his bridge at his frightened crew. For the first time in his career, he didn't know what to do. The humans had just demonstrated technology that was superior to anything the Zephyrian Empire possessed. Open a communication channel to the planet, he said finally. Sir, I want to talk to whoever built this weapon. Now, on Earth, Amy was staring at her displays in amazement. The weapon had worked perfectly. It had attached itself to the alien ship and delivered its message, and now the aliens were trying to communicate. General, we're receiving a transmission from the alien ship, Tony reported. Put it through, General Stone ordered. The main screen flickered, then showed the bridge of the alien ship. Admiral Kethvar appeared, his 6 arms spread wide in what might have been a gesture of peace. Humans of Earth, he said in heavily accented English. This is Admiral Kethvar of the Zephyrian Empire. We wish to speak with whoever created the device currently attached to our ship. Amy stepped forward. Admiral, this is Dr. Amy Collins. I led the team that improved your weapon. Improved? Kethvar's scales darkened. You mean you made it more dangerous? We made it more efficient, Amy corrected. Your original design was wasteful? We simply helped it reach its full potential. And now you hold our ship hostage. No. Admiral, we're returning your property, with a few modifications to show our appreciation for your gift. Kethvar was quiet for a long moment. Dr. Collins, in 50 years of conquest, no species has ever surprised us like this. Your people took our most powerful weapon and made it better. How is this possible? Amy smiled. Admiral, you dropped a bomb on us. We took it as a challenge. A challenge? Where we come from, when someone gives you a problem, you solve it. When someone gives you a weapon, you make it better. That's what humans do. And now we have a choice. We can be enemies, and you can keep sending us weapons to improve and return to you. Or we can be friends, and maybe we can help each other improve things that actually matter. Kethvar looked at his crew, then back at Amy. Dr. Collins, you have given us much to think about. But first, can you remove this weapon from our ship? Of course, Admiral. But first, we need to discuss terms. Terms? Peace terms. We're not interested in conquest, but we're very interested in not being conquered. I think we can work something out. For the first time in his career, Admiral Kethvar found himself negotiating with a species instead of destroying them. And despite everything, he was beginning to think he might actually like these humans. Dr. Amy Collins stood in the command center, looking at Admiral Kethvar on the main screen. The alien commander seemed different now. Gone was the arrogant confidence he had shown when his ship first arrived. Now he looked worried, maybe even scared. Double quotes, Dr. Collins, the Admiral said. Your weapon is still attached to our ship. We can feel the energy building inside it. What exactly did you do to our bomb? Amy smiled calmly. We made it better, Admiral. Your original weapon was designed to explode on impact and release all its energy at once. Very wasteful. Our version stores the energy and releases it in controlled bursts. Controlled bursts? Think of it like this. Your bomb was like a firecracker. Loud, bright, but over in a second, our version is like a star. It can burn steady for years, or it can explode with the force of a supernova. We control which one it does. General Stone stepped beside Amy. Admiral, I'm General Martha Stone. I think we need to have a serious conversation about your intentions regarding Earth. Kethvar's scales shifted color, showing his nervousness. General, the Zephyrian Empire came here to offer your world a chance to join our alliance. By dropping a bomb on us? Amy asked. It was meant as a demonstration of our power. Usually, species surrender immediately when they see what we can do. Usually? This is the first time a species has sent our weapon back to us. Improved. Ben Carter looked up from his workstation. Amy, the weapon's quantum matrix is still stable, but the aliens are trying to scan it. Should we be worried? No, Amy replied. Let them scan it. They won't understand what they're seeing. Our technology is completely different from theirs. On the alien ship, Zethnal was indeed scanning the human weapon. What he found made no sense. Admiral, this device is using technology. I don't recognize. The energy patterns are impossible. Impossible how? Sir, they've somehow contained quantum plasma in a magnetic bottle that shouldn't be able to exist. And the control systems are responding to signals I can't detect. Are you saying their technology is more advanced than ours? No, sir. I'm saying their technology is completely different from ours. It's like they solved the same problems using totally different methods. Admiral Kethvar thought about this. In all the worlds the Empire had conquered, they had always found the same basic technology. Energy weapons, plasma drives, quantum shields. Every species seemed to develop along similar lines, but these humans had done something different. Dr. Collins, he said, turning back to the communication screen. How long have your people been developing this technology? Which technology? Amy asked. The quantum containment systems? The magnetic plasma bottles? The adaptive control matrices? Amy looked confused. Admiral, we don't use any of those things. But your weapon clearly contains quantum plasma in magnetic containment. No, it doesn't. Our weapon uses controlled fusion in a gravitational field generated by compressed exotic matter. That's impossible. Exotic matter doesn't exist in stable forms. It does if you know how to make it, Ben added from his workstation. Kethvar felt a chill run through his body. The humans weren't just using different technology. They were using technology that his scientists said was impossible. Admiral, Amy continued, I think you're misunderstanding something important. We didn't build this weapon to threaten you. We built it to communicate with you. Communicate? Yes, you sent us a message with your bomb. The message was that you're powerful and we should surrender. We're sending you a message back. Our message is that we're not helpless and we prefer to talk instead of fight. General Stone nodded. Admiral, your empire has conquered 17 worlds. How many of those worlds had technology that could improve your weapons? Kethvar thought about this. None, General. Most species we encounter have technology inferior to ours. And the ones that don't, they usually destroy themselves before we arrive. Advanced species tend to be unstable, but not us. No, you appear to be both advanced and stable. This is very unusual. Amy leaned forward. Admiral, would you like to know why we're stable? Yes. Because we've been fighting each other for thousands of years. We've learned how to solve problems without destroying everything. When you dropped a bomb on us, our first instinct wasn't to attack you back. It was to understand your technology and find a better solution. A better solution? A solution where nobody has to die. Captain Jake Morrison watched the conversation from his position on the orbital defense platform. His communications officer, Lisa Grant, was recording everything for Earth Command. Sir, Lisa said, I'm getting reports from all over the planet. People saw the alien weapon attached to their ship. Everyone wants to know what's happening. Tell them the truth, Jake replied. Tell them our scientists just prevented a war. Is that what they did? Jake looked at the alien ship on his screen. The massive vessel hadn't moved in hours. Lisa, that ship could probably destroy our entire planet. But instead of fighting, they're talking. I'd say that's preventing a war. Pete Williams looked up from his engineering station. Captain, I'm detecting movement from the alien ship. They're powering down their weapons. All of them? Yes, sir. Energy levels are dropping across their entire ship. They're not preparing to fight anymore. Back in the underground facility, Amy was explaining Earth's history to the alien admiral. We've had nuclear weapons for almost a century, Admiral. We could have destroyed our own world dozens of times over. But we didn't. Why not? Because we learned that destroying things is easy. Building things is hard. We decided we preferred to build. And now you've built a weapon that could destroy our ship. Yes, but we're not going to use it unless you force. US too, we'd rather use our technology to build something better. Like what? Amy smiled. Like a friendship between our species, like trade agreements. Like sharing our different technologies to solve problems neither of us can solve alone? Admiral Kethvar was quiet for a long time. His crew watched him nervously as he considered the human proposal. Finally, he spoke. Dr. Collins, in 50 years of conquest, no species has ever offered us friendship before. Maybe because you started every conversation by dropping bombs on them, Amy suggested. Perhaps. But your species is different. You took our attack as an opportunity instead of a threat. That's what humans do, Admiral. We turn problems into opportunities. And what opportunity you see in our meeting? Amy looked at General Stone, who nodded encouragingly. Admiral, your empire has conquered 17 worlds. But conquest is expensive and dangerous. What if there was a better way? What kind of better way? What if instead of conquering worlds, you invited them to join you? What if you shared your technology instead of using it as a weapon? What if you built an alliance based on cooperation instead of fear? That would require trust. Yes, it would. And trust has to start somewhere. Kethvar looked around his bridge at his crew. They had been trained for conquest, not diplomacy, but these humans had shown them something new. They had shown them that there might be a better way to build an empire. Dr. Collins, he said finally, I am willing to discuss this further. But first, I need a gesture of good faith. What kind of gesture? Remove your weapon from our ship. Amy looked at Ben, who nodded. We can do that, Admiral. But we need a gesture of good faith from you too. What do you want? Move your ship to a peaceful orbit. Somewhere that doesn't look like you're preparing to attack our planet. Agreed. Amy pressed a button on her console. On the alien ship, the human weapon detached itself from the hull and began floating away into space. As it moved, it sent one final message to both ships. Thank you for choosing peace. Admiral Kethvar watched the weapon disappear into the darkness of space. For the first time in his career, he had chosen negotiation over conquest. And somehow, it felt like the right choice. Dr. Collins, he said, I think we have much to discuss. Yes, Admiral. I think we do. 6 months after the first alien bomb fell toward Earth, Admiral Kethvar stood in a place he never thought he would see. He was inside a human space station wearing a specially designed environmental suit that allowed him to breathe their air and move in their gravity. The station was called New Horizon, and it orbited Earth's moon. It had been built in just 4 months through a joint effort between human and Zephyrian engineers. The speed of construction had amazed both species. "Admiral," said Dr. Amy Collins, approaching him with a smile, "how are you finding the station?" "Impressive. Dr. Collins, your people work very fast." "When we're motivated, yes. And preventing galactic wars is pretty good motivation." Kethvar's scales shifted to show amusement. In the months since their first meeting, he had learned to read human expressions, and Amy had learned to read his. Color changes. It was a friendship neither of them had expected. "The council meeting is about to begin," Amy said. "Are you ready?" "As ready as I can be." "I still cannot believe I'm about to do this." "You're doing the right thing, Admiral. Your empire will be stronger for it." They walked together toward the main conference room, where representatives from both species were gathering. Today was the day the Zephyrian Empire would formally announce a new policy to the galaxy. Instead of conquest, they would offer alliance. The conference room was filled with beings from both worlds. Human diplomats sat next to Zephyrian military. Officers, scientists from both species shared data on holographic displays. Translators worked to make sure everyone could understand each other. At the center of it all sat President Harrison, the leader of Earth's government, and Empress Zaraketh, the ruler of the Zephyrian Empire. The Empress had arrived just 3 days ago in a ship twice as large as Kethvar's original warship. "Thank you all for coming," President Harrison said as the room grew quiet. "Today marks a new chapter in the history of both our species." "Empress." Zaraketh stood, her massive frame towering over the humans in the room. Her scales were bright gold, showing her rank and authority. When she spoke, her voice was deep and powerful. "For 50 years, the Zephyrian Empire has grown through conquest. We believe that strength came from domination. The humans have shown us a different path." She gestured toward Amy, who had been promoted to Director of Interspecies Relations. "Dr. Collins and her team took our weapon of war and turned it into a tool of peace. They showed us that intelligence is more powerful than force. The Empire will no longer conquer worlds," the Empress continued. "Instead, we will invite them to join us. We will share our technology and our knowledge. We will build an alliance, based on cooperation, not fear." The room erupted in applause from both humans and Zephyrians. Admiral Kethvar felt a pride he had never experienced before. For the first time in his career, he was part of something that created instead of destroyed. After the ceremony, Amy and Kethvar walked to the station's observation deck. Through the transparent aluminum windows, they could see Earth hanging in space like a blue jewel. "Do you think it will work?" Kethvar asked. "This new alliance?" "I think it has to work," Amy replied. "The alternative is too dangerous." "What do you mean?" Amy pointed to the stars beyond Earth. "Admiral, your empire has conquered 17 worlds. But there are millions of worlds out there. Some of them probably have technology that makes ours look primitive. Do you really want to meet them as enemies?" Kethvar thought about this. "You believe there are species more advanced than humans?" "I'm certain of it. And someday they're going to find us. When they do, I want them to find an alliance of peaceful species, not a bunch of warring empires. And if they are hostile, then we'll do what humans always do. We'll figure out a way to turn their weapons into something better." Kethvar's scales shifted to show amusement again. "You are a dangerous species, Dr. Collins. You make peace sound like a weapon. Maybe it is, Admiral. Maybe it's the most powerful weapon in the galaxy." Meanwhile, in the station's engineering section, Dr. Ben Carter was working with a team of Zephyrian scientists. They were studying the remains of the original alien bomb, trying to understand how human and Zephyrian technology could work together. "The fusion matrix is fascinating," said Chief Engineer Velnoth, a young Zephyrian who had volunteered to work with the humans. "Your species uses quantum entanglement in ways we never considered. And your energy containment systems are incredible," Ben replied. "We've been trying to build stable plasma bottles for decades." "You make it look easy. But perhaps together we can build something neither species could create alone. What did you have in mind?" Velnoth pulled up a holographic display showing a new type of engine. A propulsion system that combines human quantum technology with Zephyrian plasma control. Ships using this design could cross the galaxy in weeks instead of years. Ben studied the design, his excitement growing. Velnoth, this could change everything. Trade, exploration, communication between worlds? Yes, and if we encounter hostile species, this technology could help us escape or defend ourselves. Or maybe it could help us get to them first and offer them friendship before they decide to attack us. On the command deck of the station, Captain Jake Morrison was reviewing reports from across human space. The alien ship attack had changed everything for Earth's military forces. "Sir," said Lisa Grant, now serving as the station's communications. "Chief, we're receiving reports from our deep space monitoring stations. 3 more alien species have made contact since the Zephyrian Alliance was announced." "Hostile contact?" "No, sir, they all seem to want to talk. Word is spreading that humans are good at negotiating." Pete Williams, now the station's chief engineer, looked up from his displays. "Captain, we're also getting requests from 17 different worlds that want human engineers to help improve their technology." Jake smiled. "Looks like Amy was right. Turning that bomb into a peace offering was the smartest thing we ever did." "Sir, there's something else. The Zephyrian Empire is requesting human advisors to help them contact other species peacefully." "How many advisors?" "About 1,000, sir. They want to learn how to negotiate instead of conquer." Back on the observation deck, Amy and Kethvar were joined by General Stone, who had been promoted to Secretary of Defense for Interspecies Affairs. "Dr. Collins," the general said, "I have news from Earth Command. The President is officially authorizing the creation of the Galactic Cooperation Initiative." "What's that?" Kethvar asked. "It's a new organization dedicated to peaceful first contact with alien species," Amy explained. "Instead of waiting for them to find us, we're going to find them first and offer friendship." "You want to do to other species what you did to us?" "Not exactly, Admiral. We're not going to wait for them to drop bombs on us. We're going to approach them with gifts instead of weapons." "What kind of gifts?" "Technology, knowledge, solutions to problems they might be facing. The idea is to show them that cooperation is more beneficial than conquest." General Stone nodded. "The first mission launches next month. 5 ships, each carrying teams of diplomats, scientists, and engineers. Their job is to find intelligent species and offer them alliance instead of war." Kethvar was quiet for a moment, then his scales brightened with approval. "This is why humans are dangerous, Dr. Collins. You do not just win wars, you prevent them." "That's the idea, Admiral." "And if you encounter a species that refuses your offer of friendship?" Amy looked out at the stars, thinking about all the worlds that might be out there. "Then we'll do what we did with you. We'll take whatever they send us and make it better. And we'll keep offering friendship until they understand that it's the best option. And if they never understand, then we'll build alliances with the species that do understand, and together we'll be strong enough to protect ourselves." Kethvar thought about his long career of conquest. He had destroyed worlds, enslaved populations, and spread fear across 17 star systems. But in 6 months of working with humans, he had accomplished more than in 50 years of war. "Dr. Collins," he said, "I believe your species will change the galaxy." "I hope so, Admiral. But we can't do it alone. You will not have to. The Zephyrian Empire stands with you." Amy smiled, looking out at the stars that no longer seemed quite so dark or distant. Somewhere out there were species they had not yet met. Some would be friendly, some would be hostile. But for the first time in human history, Earth was not alone. They had allies, they had technology, and most importantly, they had learned that the best way to win a war was to prevent it from starting. The galaxy was about to become a much more peaceful place, and it all started with a bomb that got sent back, upgraded,